Ladies and gentlemen, a first snapshot for the year for the Caves and Cliffs update. Minecraft Java Edition 1.17 has been released. This is Snapshot 21w03a. It comes to you with the Glow Squid, as well as the ability to make things glow, and a new cave-based light source, the Glow Lichen. Before we get into it, I'm going to change up the format a little bit, starting with this video. The technical news are going to be split out to a separate video, so look forward to that one later tonight. With that said, let's get into it, starting with the Glow Squid. The Glow Squid is added to the game but does not yet spawn naturally. You can find spawn eggs for them in the creative inventory as with all the other mobs. Glow Squids work pretty much like other squids, but they are well lit and can be seen from a distance. They have emissive textures just like an Enderman's eyes. When killed, a Glow Squid will drop between 1 and 3 of a new item called a Glow Ink Sac. You can get more than that with looting on your weapon. We'll get back to Glow Ink Sacs in a second here. Another interesting thing to note is that Axolotls will attack any Glow Squid they see. Now let's get into blocks and items and start with those Glow Ink Sacs. They have a use action where if you point at a sign and use a Glow Ink Sac, you will make the text emissive so that it can be seen even at night and without light sources. This also works if you have colors added to the sign. You can also use an ink sac on a sign to remove this glow effect later. The Glow Ink Sac is also a component for crafting. You can craft a Glow Ink Sac with an item frame to create a glow item frame. Like the text on the signs, a glow item frame will be illuminated even at night and without any light sources around. Note that neither of these blocks will actually light up the world, they only self-illuminate. Another new added item is the Glow Lichen. The Glow Lichen is a new dim light source growing in caves that produces light at level 7. It can be waterlogged, and just like normal vines, you need shears to pick it up. If you use bone meal on it, you can spread it along block surfaces. Already at the time of making this video, some quirks have been found with this where the Glow Lichen will create water and become waterlogged even if put inside of lava, and that goes even in the nether. Expect this to be fixed. One more change to blocks and items for this version. Dripstone blocks can now be crafted from 4 pointed dripstone. Let's talk about other changes to mobs. A bug was claimed to be fixed where mobs would suffocate or go through blocks when they grew up from a baby to adult state near a solid block. However, this has already been shown to not be fully fixed. Dripstone caves could not spawn any mobs, that is fixed in this version, and a whole boatload of fixes have been done to shulkers, including shulkers in boats and minecarts desinking in various different ways, shulkers in some situations that couldn't be pushed with a piston, shulkers from monster spawners being entirely white, and shulkers not teleporting correctly when going through a portal. When next to another shulker or another block, they could open into that other shulker or block as well. That has been fixed in this version. Let's talk about gameplay. Boats will now once again try to put the player on land when you dismount. There was a bug that meant that you couldn't tempt animals with food if there was another player who was closer to the animal. That is fixed in this version. Shulker boxes could not be opened if it was next to a shulker. Speaking of shulkers, shulker boxes and bundles would duplicate items in some situations when they got destroyed. That is fixed in this version. The use statistic for bundles never increased, and right-clicking an empty bundle would sometimes play a hand animation when it shouldn't. You could place a pointed dripstone on top of another pointed dripstone, even in the case where that meant that you ended up inside of the bounding box of the lower stalagmite. That is fixed in this version. And there's a new death message for being killed by falling onto a stalagmite. It is, player name was impaled on a stalagmite. Or if you were fighting somebody when it happened, player name was impaled on a stalagmite whilst fighting, and then the entity name. A couple of fixes to world generation. Pointed dripstone generating inside of dripstone caves could generate in some configurations that should normally be impossible for pointed dripstone. That has been fixed in this version. And dripstone generated in dripstone caves will no longer replace lava sources. Of course, new sounds in this version as well. The Glow Squid has an ambient sound. A sound for shooting ink. A sound for hurting. And for dying. There's also a new sound for using a dye item. and a new sound for using an ink sac or Glow Ink Sac. User interface changes in this version. There's now a harsher world downgrade warning if you try to open a world from a future version, with the title in red stating that world downgrades are not supported. This screen will now also prompt you to make a backup. Some other small fixes: the game mode selection is now once again ordered the way it used to, and there was a random transparent line in the shulker box user interface texture that is fixed in this version. A few languages have been removed where the translations were far from complete. They are Gothic, Kabyle, Maori, Mohawk, Nuuk, Ojibwe, and Talossan. In addition to this, a bunch of small text fixes, including capitalization fixes. Finally, a number of stability and performance fixes in this version, including a slew of crash fixes. Speaking of stability, this is a testing version, and keep in mind that they are always considered less stable and can crash or corrupt your world at any point. Any world you open in this version can never be safely downgraded to a previous version again, so if you play this version, do so on a backup of your world or on a separate test world. If you want to try this version but you don't know how to, then click on the link in the iCard on the video right now or in the video description to take you to a tutorial video about how to get and play a Minecraft snapshot. And that was all I had for you this time. Like I mentioned at the start of the video, if you want to know the technical changes for map makers and data pack makers, then check out the separate video coming soon. I hope you found this comprehensive guide useful, and if you did, please help me out in return, leave a like and share it to your friends. If you want to stay informed about all the changes in Minecraft Java Edition, then please subscribe to this channel. I make update videos for every new snapshot, pre-release, release candidate, or full release. And don't forget to hit the bell icon and select all to get notified when the videos are done. My name is slicedlime, thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.